coxcomb never saw the sun. I object to his temper even more than to his judgment. He is a mere misanthrope, a cynic all over. So indeed is his brother infidel Voltaire, and well nigh as great a coxcomb, but he hides his doggedness and vanity a little better, whereas here it stares us in the face continually. Here is his opinion of a very famous book. Tuesday, February 11th, 1772. I casually took a volume of what is called A Sentimental Journey Through France and Italy. Sentimental? What is that? It is not English. He might as well say continental. It is not sense. It conveys no determinate idea, yet one fool makes many, and this nonsensical word, who would believe it, is become a fashionable one. However, the book agrees full well with the title, for one is as queer as the other. For oddity, uncouthness, and unlikeness to all the world beside, I suppose the writer is without a rival. A book wrote with as much learning and as little judgment as any I remember to have read in my whole life, he says, of Cave's primitive Christianity. Despite the fact, therefore, that John Wesley was devoted to the work of missionary preaching, that he was an ecstatic visionary, and in many respects the most credulous as well as the most zealous of evangelists, his knowledge of men in critical power was not a little remarkable. I'm not at all sure that sinners are not the right people to write about saints. Saints may be, because sanctity implies something attractive which is almost unthinkable, without the sympathy which nearly always reveals itself in a certain playfulness. But good, deserving people are assuredly not qualified to be the biographers of saints, for in their desire to exalt their hero, they generally strip him of all the qualities for which men loved him, and no one was ever loved for his perfections alone, and present him as their own ideal of what a saint should be. John Wesley is an example of this, and he would appear in a far more amiable light in pages written by a kindly man of the world than in a book by a devoted admirer and would-be imitator of his virtues. It was, after all, Boswell's many failings which contributed to give us so delightful a portrait as that of his great and good friend Samuel Johnson. Now, John Wesley was an undoubted saint, and the good he did in England, and his society in America, for that matter, is incalculable. But I ask his admirers, and any who profess to follow him, to forgive me for using him as a peg on which to hang a few remarks on social England. Before, however, I do so, may I introduce him and some of his family to you. It is rare indeed to find in any family so much genius transmitted from father to son for more than 2 centuries as there was in that of the Wesleys. Here are 6 generations. 1. Bartholomew studied physic at the university, and when ejected for Puritanism in 1662 from the living of Allington in Dorsetshire, he practised as a doctor. 2. His son John was an ardent Puritan, imprisoned on no less than 4 occasions. He died at an early age, and was distinguished when at New Inn Hall at Oxford for his proficiency in Oriental studies. 3. Samuel, rector of Epworth, a scholar of some repute, and father of the famous Wesleys. 4. Charles, the poet of Methodism. 5. Samuel, the musician, one of the pioneers of modern organ-playing. 6. Samuel Sebastian, the celebrated composer, organist in Gloucester Cathedral, who died in 1875. Talent, not without eccentricity, seemed the natural gift of this remarkable family, to which was added beauty in the females and distinction of appearance in the male members. Samuel, the third on our list, was naturally a Puritan by upbringing, but he became a churchman by conviction. He obtained the rectory of Epworth in the Isle of Axholme in Lincolnshire, and the chaplaincy of a regiment. This, however, he lost. His dissenting enemies stopped his getting any further preferment save the living of root, near to Epworth. He married the daughter of an ejected minister, Susanna Annesley, who was herself connected with the noble family of that name. She had no less than